Boilermakers go on the road and take 2 of 3 at Minnesota. A road series victory in the Big Ten, certainly a good thing. I'm Kyle Charters with the baseball coach Greg Goff and SID Ben Turner for This Week in Purdue Baseball, presented by Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex. Golf season is here. I'll be playing on Wednesday. Coach,
there you go.
A good weekend at Minnesota. Certainly, you take the first 2 games of the series. Man, winning on the road is difficult, certainly in the Big Ten. And to be able to come out of there against such a storied program as the Golden Gophers is a win.
No doubt. We went up there. I thought we played extremely well. We pitched really well this weekend, Kyle. I mean, we were really dominant. Started with Kyle on Friday night and our bullpen. And then JB again, just a consistent start again on Saturday. And so just really, again, it started on the mound, I thought, this weekend. And then our hitters kind of got going in game 2 there. And anytime you go on the road and you win 2 or 3, it's a big weekend.
We'll talk to one of those hitters, Joe Stevens, the third baseman for the Boilermakers, on today's show. Pitching, though, you mentioned it, was great. 18 consecutive scoreless innings going back to the midweek game on Tuesday. And then you pitch great on Friday night. You pitch great again on Saturday. You get a 3-0 victory with 3 singles in game 1. Offense explodes to help out the staff in game 2. But those guys from Cal Steven to your relievers to Jonathan Blackwell, who's been so consistent, were great.
They really were, and that's where it starts. I mean, Friday night, you're going to get a 3-2, 4-3 game most of the time. And, for the first 3 weekends, we've won on Friday night with Kyle. It's been awesome. He kind of leads our staff, and, there's nobody more competitive than him. And, you got to make big pitches in those situations. And I'm just really proud of, Coach Rooney and what he's done with those guys. They just continue to follow his lead and just, again, give us a chance to win on the weekends, which is huge.
Loved how you got that 3-run rally Friday to win that game. No score going into the 7th. Joe Stevens leads off with a single. He's got a good on-base streak going right now and a hitting streak before that. So he's been so consistent. And then we've been so impressed with his instincts on the base paths. We think he leads the team on moving up a base when a ball in the dirt. And that was huge because then he ends up on third base. Then you don't need another hit to score. And, I mean, that's been one of the hallmarks since of your tenure here at Purdue. A lot of times we can score runs without a lot of hits, and that keeps the pressure on in a huge way.
It does, Ben, and I just, again, it doesn't take speed to read balls in dirt. It's following the ball and having instincts, and Joe, he's as good as I've ever had. I mean, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but I tell you what, when the ball is projecting down, he does a really good job of visualizing that and getting those jumps. And again, he puts pressure on those catchers, makes that catcher, throw that ball away, and he gets to third base, and we end up scoring again. And our offense is a lot like that. We did that on Sunday in the first inning where we didn't get a hit and we scored with Mike. And those are the things that some days you're going to hit, some days you're not, but you got to be able to put pressure every day with your athleticism, and we've been fortunate to do that.
And Albright gets the bunt down. Pitching change, you call for the bunt right away. Perfect guy to have up there in that situation. I think it was a breaking ball at that.
Yeah, it was. It was breaking ball down. Yeah, it was. He got the safety down, and we were able to score. And that was the first time that we've been able to use the bunt game. We got some guys over. I thought we did a great. I think we were 100% in our bunts this weekend. And again, that's why you win 1-run, 2-run games, and all those little things that add up on the weekends.
Indiana State in the midweek here today, and then Penn State coming in this weekend, the start of a 6-game homestand, which certainly is nice, especially with the weather as great as it is. Here's a guy, though, that you'd like to see bring the bat home with him from Minneapolis. Jake Parr's been just outstanding up there. I think he has 10 hits in a couple of series at Seabird Field. Got another home run this weekend at a Grand Slam a couple of years ago. He's been good for you as a bat there toward the second half of the lineup and another run producer.
He really has. I think Jake's really come on and won that position at first base. And what I loved about Jake this weekend was his at bats. He were able to make adjustments. His first at bat, he gets jammed on the fastball, and then the next at bat, they try to go in and hits the home run. I mean, that's the thing about older guys, having field a hit and doing those types of things. And Jake's just been absolutely amazing, and really proud of him and what he's done for the last 4 years here, and hope he'll continue to, because he's it's a presence in the middle of the order, And, again, he got another triple this weekend, too. So when big guys get triples, you're hitting the ball pretty well. So it was a good weekend for Jake.
Lucas Cook has sort of come on for you here recently as well, and it was pretty awesome to see. He started games over an 8-game span at third base, first base, second, shortstop, was the DH for you one time in that 8-game span as well. But that versatility really helps you. And obviously, he came up with a couple of really big hits for you in the series against Northwestern also.
He did, and Lucas is again, you get what you get, right? He's earned the opportunity to get in the lineup. He's had some big at-bats for us. And, again, another guy that's kind of stayed the course and worked hard. And when the opportunities come, he's got those opportunities and made the most of them. So hopefully he'll continue to work hard, especially with Evan and his hand and just trying to get through some of those things. Tonight we'll start Lucas at short to give Evan some more time off with his hand and stuff to make sure he's ready for the weekend. But I'm just really proud of Lucas and what he's brought to the table so far.
Last year's lineup, at least positionally, was pretty set. Cam Thompson was really one of the few guys that went back and forth between first base and right field and really settled into first most of Big Ten play.
Yeah.
Do you normally prefer to have a guy like Lucas Cook that can be a true utility man and go all over the field like that? I mean, we didn't see that as much your first couple of years, at least here at Purdue.
Well, for us, I mean, anytime, you would like to have those 9 guys and be consistent with it. We've had some guys that not hit. And so you got to find some ways to maneuver some of that. And so Lucas has kind of been able to go in maybe at first or third or second, and even short when Evans are hurt or whatever. So, but no, I would prefer to right now 9 every day and know what's going on. But we've had a few guys here and there kind of working out of the lineups until we find that magic 9. We're going to continue to do that, man.
And that versatility to go to first, too. I assume that probably was the first time he'd ever played first base in a game, and nobody really noticed, last Tuesday against Evansville when he was out there and then had the big home run. Yeah, I mean, both of his home runs have been so dramatic in the walk-off and then the game-tying shot as well.
Yeah.
Looks like going to be another 70-degree night, 70-degree week here in Greater Lafayette. Love to see that. It's going to help with the crowds as it always does. And really, this is the time of the year to let's make it happen at home, right? I think 15 of the next 18 are at home. 15
of the next 18. We got, I think, 20 and 24 days. It's a great time. And what a great place Alexandria is. I mean, having over 1,000 people at every game so far at home, it has just been amazing. Our guys, it just gives a different, advantage for us. And I think we'll have a great time tonight. And then this weekend, hopefully they can come out and again, enjoy this beautiful weather and play some great Purdue baseball.
We'll talk to Joe Stevens here in just a couple of minutes, but he's another guy who you went out and got transferred in, and sort of like Troy Viola, who played the position for you. Last year's been a plus player defensively, and he's hit the ball well, and as we mentioned earlier, he's got great instincts. I mean, he's been a nice find for your team and a really consistent player.
He really is, Kyle. He's been really consistent for us, and again, when you can find somebody on the corner that can be consistent, make the routine plays, and to really be honest with you, I came up here late last night just watching video of the weekend. His last 2 at bats were really good. He hit a slider to the backside of the field. He hit a fastball into the pull side. I mean, if he can stay like that, well, it's going to be a fun finish for him for sure.
You're 5-4 in the Big Ten through the first 3 weekends. You've won back-to-back series. You win series, you're going to put yourself in a good spot come the end of the year. So you positioned yourself well with Penn State coming in this weekend. The Nittany Lions have a team that usually plays hard, plays well. They'll provide you with a pretty good test.
Oh, yeah. And again, 2 of those first 3 weekends have been on the road. You go on the road and those first 9 games and you're 5-4, you better be pretty pleased with that. And we always want to get better, but, hopefully we'll play well this weekend. Coach Cooper and Penn State's really good. They got some really good arms. You'll see some dudes, 94, 95 this weekend. And, they got a veteran club back. Their shortstop's back. Other guys are back from last year, so it'll be a really good test for us this weekend.
And Indiana State tonight, obviously, you got a chance to see them up close and personal down in Terre Haute a couple of weeks ago. Didn't go as well for you down there, but an opportunity to get back in the win column today.
There's no doubt. Indiana State's a really good club, and I'm excited for the opportunity to play them tonight. I think, we didn't show up very well down in Terre Haute, and looking forward to playing those guys tonight.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you tonight. We'll see you this weekend.
All right. Thank you.
That's the baseball coach, Greg Goff, joining us on the show. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Joe Stevens, veteran third baseman for the Boilermakers, will join us on This Week in Purdue Baseball. It's warming up and golf season is here. As a member of the Pete Dye Golf Trail, Burke Boilermaker courses offer a variety of experiences and services for you to enjoy year-round. Visit PurdueGolf.com/funhouse to stay up to date with all the latest deals and offerings, as well as construction and related traffic updates for the new clubhouse. That's PurdueGolf.com/clubhouse. Welcome back to This Week in Purdue Baseball. Kyle Charters with Ben Turner and Joe Stevens, third baseman for the Boilermakers. First of all, Joe, happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You made it a successful birthday weekend up in Minneapolis, not only taking 2 of 3 from the Golden Gophers, but you had a good weekend as well. And on your actual birthday, had a couple of doubles in a victory, had to make it feel pretty good.
No, yeah, it was great. I mean, taking two from 3 away from Minnesota, it's like something big that we stress on as a team, especially away. But I mean, yeah, having a good birthday as well. But I mean, it would have been better if we won, but I mean, it is what it is. But yeah.
Yeah. So just you've been able to sort of be a consistent player at third base for the Boilermakers, play a lot this year, sort of won out that job when we didn't know for sure, who ultimately would be the everyday third baseman. Just what was your approach at the start of the season, and you have to be happy with how you've been able to contribute.
Yeah, I mean, through the fall, it was like me and Paul kind of tossing up who was going to play third. But
yeah.
I mean, every day in the fall, I was just going to grind out every day, take every day as it goes. And I mean, start of the season comes, I get the starting spot, lose it for one game, and then I get it back. But I mean, just go out each day, play as hard as I can, and luckily I got the spot. But yeah.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
We've been impressed by your, what we would say, baseball instincts. Base running, moving up on pitches in the dirt. Defensively at third, you've been so good. Even your situational hitting has been really strong, I feel like. Is that something you've always taken pride in, that it's kind of maybe put you over the top to be able to get to this level?
I mean, it's something definitely that the coaching staff, especially Coach Goff, takes pride in. I mean, the dirt ball reads is just something that we definitely preach on in practice and practice every day. But yeah, when it comes to situational hitting, team comes first. Statistics don't really matter to me or anything, just as long as we get the win. But yeah, that's something I definitely take pride in. It's like team first, and as long as we win, then that's all that matters, yeah.
Have you always been a third baseman? Did you play all over the infield? What's kind of been your road to third base at Purdue?
I've always, growing up in Australia, it's always been shortstop. But as of late, when I turned around like 18, started to get the growth spurt a little bit. And then my first college, I kind of started at third, and then it's just kind of stayed at third that whole time.
Tell us a little bit more about baseball in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the teams that you played for? Do schools offer it as part of school like they do here? Is it more like the European system where clubs would rule?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we don't have like high school baseball at all. It's all club based orientated. So essentially for high school, you're playing softball, which is kind of a little bit different. But yeah, it's all club based. Yeah, so I played for a state team, and then luckily made the under 15s and under 18s Australian team, which was a blessing. Play with those guys. Some guys that I played with were playing in the WBC this year, so you get to face like the American team, the Japanese teams, all those, play the best guys in the world. But growing up in Australia, you're not getting all the facilities like you are here, or the umpires or anything. But yeah, you're playing on all grass fields, so yeah, it's a blessing when you get here.
A little bit different, certainly. So take us through your journey to get here. Where all have the stops been that ultimately landed you in West Lafayette, and what was it about Purdue and Greg Goff and this program that you felt like it should be home for you?
Yeah, so I started my first school at Cal State Bakersfield, and then I just didn't feel like it was the best fit for me, so then I transferred to Yavapai at a junior college up in Arizona, and then luckily Coach Rooney saw me up there and came to brought my talents here. Immediately when I went on my visit, I was gobsmacked straight away. With the facilities, you look at our coaching staff, like the amount of, look at the resume of all the coaching staff. It's pretty great. But yeah, you look at the facilities, the school itself, the degree that brings. But you look at our team. You have Evan Albrecht's been here for 5 years. It's just a lot of leadership here, and yeah, I mean, you get to play in front of all the fans, and I mean, that's something great, and I always look forward to.
Was it always the goal of yours when you were younger to come over here and be able to play at a collegiate level? And did you feel like, your skills sort of would lend themselves to being able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, growing up in Australia, I mean, college wasn't really stressed about. It was more like you kind of get either international free agent or something like that. But definitely getting older, like, you start to kind of look at the college, like, going, like, do I take the college route or do I take the pro route? But definitely when I hit, like grade 12, I was like, yeah, let's do the college route and see how that takes me. So, yeah.
A lot of the most famous Australian guys that have made the big leagues here in the U.S. have been pitchers. Names that come to mind: Grant Balfour, Liam Hendricks, Peter Moylan, Graham Lloyd. Most of those guys relief pitchers.
Yep.
How did you follow baseball, professional baseball, as a kid growing up in Australia? Was that something that was on the radar?
I mean, I didn't really, not really, to be honest. I mean, like, Australia's really big in rugby, cricket, so that's something that you grow up watching as a kid. I mean, but it does help, like, especially Liam. I mean, like, had coffee with him about 2 years ago.
Really?
So yeah, it's a very small, tight-knit group, especially with the baseball. I mean, I met Grant Balfour when I was 12, so like, you kind of like know all the guys that come through the programs and everything. But I mean, yeah, definitely baseball is not the biggest stress sport in Australia, but I mean, it is good tight-knit group, as you know. Like, I mean, having coffee with Liam Hendricks, like one of the best relievers in the
and a really interesting guy at that.
Yeah.
As a White Sox fan,
Yeah.
I can vouch for that one, and we hope he finishes off his fight with lymphoma that he's going through right now. So we wish him the best. Meanwhile, you mentioned this briefly. Softball. You played maybe softball in school. Now,
Yep.
What kind of softball are we talking now? Fast pitch.
Yep.
Okay.
Fast pitch. Yeah, it's just I mean, different game, but I mean, like, you kind of get to adapt to it. But yeah, softball.
Okay.
So,
well,
yeah.
I figured you would say cricket and Australian rules football were big on the list too. So
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I did play cricket, rugby, like swimming, tennis. Kind of played every sport. Definitely growing up, I mean, AFL, which is a big sport in Australia, which I was kind of heading towards that route, but didn't really hit the growth spurt there, so I kind of stuck with baseball, and then, I mean, luckily hit the growth spurt a little bit later, and that's helped me out a little bit, yeah.
well, it's worked out so far for you. What do you think about Lucas Cook starting at all 4 infield positions over the span of 8 games? Have you ever seen anything like that before?
No. But I mean, no, Cookie's a great guy around the clubhouse. I mean, having a guy like that, versatility-wise, that can play third, short, even second or first, I mean, having that guy, the type of guy in our lineup, so it's going to be huge for us. So, I mean, yeah, last 2 home runs have been great for him. So, I mean, he's going to be a big guy in our lineup. So, yeah.
How important do you think these next few games are? You play 6 in a row here at home at Alexander. The weather's supposed to be nice, which I'm sure you appreciate a little bit. But tonight's game against Indiana State, a team that got you guys down there, which you didn't play in that game.
No, I
set
know.
out that game, so you get an opportunity to get back in the lineup against the Sycamores. Then Penn State this weekend. You've won back-to-back series in the Big Ten. You got to be eager to see if you guys can keep that going.
Yeah, I mean, tonight's going to be a big game for us. I mean, Indiana State kind of got us on a bad day, but I think we're going to go out tonight, play our best game. But yeah, it's going to be huge, especially against Penn State. I mean, with a home crowd, with the weather as well, it's going to be great. But yeah, big weekend for us. But I mean, we're just going to go out, stick with our game plan and approach, and hopefully it all goes well.
What's the weather been like for you? Is this a different climate than you're accustomed to?
Yeah. It's definitely the coldest I've been in, but yeah, because back home, I mean, summer just finished, but it's normally like 105, 110. So it's
warm.
I mean, yeah, like now getting into the 70s. I mean, it's starting to get real good, but yeah, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
We close out the player segment with what we call personal preferences. So, Joe, we have you pick a number between 1 and 23, and we just want to learn more about you. There are no wrong answers.
Okay.
So, between 1 and 23, what you got?
Let's go 3.
3. Everybody loves to pick their number. Your favorite athlete or coach, current or retired? Doesn't have to be baseball.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'll probably stick with tennis. I mean, I love Rafael Nadal.
Good
I
choice.
mean, growing up, I mean, you look at the guy that's been so consistent at the French Open. I mean, like 11 or 12 Grand Slams he's won. I mean, I remember growing up as a kid, like he'd always be on the TV and I'll be mimicking him or whatever. But I mean, I'm a guy with that attitude and hustle on the field. I mean, yeah, it's something I definitely admire too. So yeah.
Rafa's also won the Australian Open multiple times, and I don't know that people realize how big of a deal that tournament is in Australia, right?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, one of the 4 Grand Slams. I mean, the Australian Open, yeah, it's huge, hard court. I mean, like the guys get to wear whatever they want, so it's just kind of cool. But yeah, massive Grand Slam. But yeah.
All right, between 1 and 23, don't pick 3.
Let's go 7.
7. Purdue coach or staff member you feel like you have the strongest connection with?
I would say probably Coach Marks. I mean, as of lately, I mean, I started really well with the bat, and I did find did struggle a little bit. So got back with Coach Marks, got back in the cages, talked about our approach. I mean, that's been working for me lately. I mean, just getting back in the cages with him and sticking with my approach, and then I mean, starting to find it back now. So
yeah. And Sunday, those 2 doubles were both one a pull side off the wall, and then the opposite field. Your last at bat. I mean, that's beautiful. It's different styles of hitting. Mm-hmm. So good job there. Last one between 1 and 23. Don't pick 3. Don't pick 7.
17.
17. Favorite Purdue building on campus?
Alexander Field. I'm gonna have to.
It counts.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great field. I've never played on a field like that. I mean, especially when the crowd comes out. I mean, it's a beautiful field. I mean, the infield plays perfectly. I mean, yeah.
And this week should be amazing there with the forecast and the good opponents coming to town.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Joe, appreciate it. Keep it up this season. Keep rolling as a team too. Obviously, a big weekend with Penn State coming into town. The schedule gets a little bit more difficult, at least on paper, in the second half of the year. But seems like you guys have positioned yourself well. Do you feel like you got some momentum?
Yeah, I mean, taking two away from Minnesota. I mean, I think we're starting to find the bats now. Pitching is coming along. Everything's coming along. So, I mean, once we get these Big Ten games in, then we should be good.
That'll do it for our show for this week. Again, we'll be back again with this stream next week after that Penn State series. For Ben Turner and Joe Stevens and Coach Greg Goff earlier, I'm Kyle Charters. Thanks for watching. This is This Week in Purdue Baseball presented by Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex. Golf season